Welcome. Thanks for joining us for another week of local business marketing tips. Now, I've already sat down with a few local businesses and kind of gone over some of the things they have planned for next year, some of their ideas, some of the things that went well, some of the things they didn't think went very well. And I enjoy playing devil's advocate and maybe bringing up some extra topics, some other things they could be doing, just at least make them think about it and see if it would work for what they're doing. Which leads us to this week. This week, we're going to go over 3 different strategies to come up with your goals list. Now, if you've already done your goals list, awesome, great, good for you. But some of these strategies may help or just bring up some things that you may not have thought of that you could add to your goal list, still not too late, and help you grow your marketing for next year. Let's take a peek. All right, today we're going to go over 3 different goal setting techniques. And this is obviously not the only 3, but these are the 3 fun ones that I've seen over the years, including my favorite, which we're going to go over last. You can see the tabs up here ready to go. So the first one is creating a SMART list. Now with the SMART list strategy, what we have is the acronym SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. This makes you sit down and think about what you want to achieve, which is a specific goal. And I put in here just to fill it out, the make $2 million in sales revenue for the new year. If that's something obviously your goals are going to be all different, but if that's something you're trying to achieve, that's where you start. Next, you think about how is this measurable. In this particular case, we measure this by collecting marketing and interactions on social media. You collect that data, that information to see what kind of posts are doing well, what is not doing well, and why. Combine that with the number of sales. Obviously, you want to see how your sales are doing. When you compare those two, it helps you get to that specific goal of $2 million in sales for the year. Next thing you want to check to see if it's achievable, right? So we take a look at last year, and last year we had 1.5 million in sales, obviously made up. And we think that increasing your online presence and doing things like Google Ads and so forth will help and grow that business as well. And we also put in here personal events, but obviously you can put in there whatever you want to. But is it achievable? That means you take a look at last year. What are the things that went well last year that helps you think that you're going to achieve that new goal this year? And then, of course, relevancy. So this is relevant. The relevant information, the tasks we're going to do is we're going to focus on the social forms of Instagram. We're going to do Facebook. We're going to do TikTok. And we're going to do product spotlights. And we're going to go back to our repeat customers and consider them VIPs and focus on them. What are the relevant things that we are going to be doing in order to achieve that $1.2 million goal? All right, so we're breaking this thing down. We're making up specific tasks. We're really making sure we're focused. And of course, timeliness, right? So you want to do 2 things. One is the timeliness of when do you want to achieve certain goals? When do you want to get to certain goals? You want to be 3 months in, 4 months in, 5 months in? Are you making this SMART list quarterly? Are you doing it monthly, bi-monthly? What does that look like for you? Or if you're doing this for an annual event or annually, you want that timeliness to be what your daily schedule looks like. Obviously, I would recommend making a very specific schedule. That's the only way to survive and do well and not go crazy. But in any case, you're going to want that timeliness to be, all right, so my morning schedule needs to be posting and doing things. And during the afternoon, I'm going to be in my shop and making sure I'm checking with clients, customers, and sending emails and doing the things I got to do to service the customers. And then right after closing hours, I'm going to spend a few minutes going over some of the sales data and reviews. So you're thinking about the ways in which you're going to time that. What's it look like for you? Is it manageable? Are the things you're coming up with reasonable? And you can do this all the time. You can do this, like I said, monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly. It's really a reflection about where you want to be and how you want to get there. And that's the first one, the SMART list. Our second one is physical. A lot of people are creative minds, and so they have to kind of see it visually. Like making lists doesn't really work for them. So the mind map style, I'm sure you've had those mind maps back when you were a kid or in high school, grade school or whatnot. And it works for business as well. I did this one as like a chain, but you can also do the one, I'm sure you've seen it as well, where the goal is in the middle and then you have spokes coming out and you have all your goals around the outside. But I made this one more of a timeline to make an order of importance. And I did this one through Diagram Draw.io. And this is a free service you get with Google. There's millions of different styles. There's different kinds you can do. There's a huge array. I just do this one because I use everything through Google and it's really user friendly. So here's what we do. In this one, we're going to sell $1.5 million in product. So that's the goal. That's what we're trying to get to. Again, it's completely made up. And we're going to do that through Google Ads, live events, and through more videos. And again, all made up. No problem. So we're going to start with the Google Ads. And so the chain of events from those Google Ads is we're going to actually learn how to run the ads. And from there, we're going to learn how to run the ads. And then we're going to have monthly specials and things we're going to do as well. So when we have the ads, there's things to run the ads for. And you know what? This is so easy. We're going to click on this little arrow and it's going to make another box. And we're going to do something like we're going to also feature new specials and releases. So look at that. It's so easy to add to it, to make it run. So you can picture everything that you have got going on. Same thing with live events. We're gonna go to farmers markets. We're gonna do things like that. And for the videos, we're gonna make YouTube channels. And again, you can make it bigger, better, add more things onto it. You can visualize everything. You can continue to tweak it as well throughout the year, just like you did through the Smart Map. You can stop by every month, 2 months to see how your mind map is going, maybe add things if you need to, but visualize and see how it's going, make the adjustments. And things aren't going well. Let's say I didn't learn how to do ads. You can put up here and say, you know what? Didn't do it. But instead you decided to do postcards. So that way you can visually see what things were going well, what things weren't going well. You can see how it branches out and how you made adjustments. All that's very good and it's very visual. So if you're a visual person, the mind map. Also a great way to set up your annual, monthly, bi-monthly, but annual goals to start the year. Of course, the last one. The last one I want to go over, again, there's many of them, but these are the 3 that we're going to go over today to kind of help focus you. And then the last one is the 135. And this is the one that I always use, and I've been using it for years and years and years. So you have your goal at the top, 1.5 million in revenue last year, $2 million in revenue this year. Again, totally made up. So we have the one goal, very important. And then we have the 3 actions, so 3 things we're going to do to achieve that goal. New client acquisition, past client focus, and team building, team success. When you have those 3 topics on how you're going to focus in on getting the $2 million in revenue, what specific actions under each category are you going to start doing? For example, I'm going to start running Google Ads, or I'm going to start doing in-person events. I'm going to do that YouTube channel, make some commercials. I'm going to make some shorts and some reels, and I'm going to get on TikTok and create some consistency. These are the actions you're going to take in order to focus on the new client acquisition. Same with the past clients. I'm not going over this whole thing for you. You got it. So as you know these things have to take place, then you work backwards and start fitting them into your schedule and making sure it all works and everything's timely. Again, I go back to that schedule. Be sure your calendar and your schedule are nicely, neatly organized, that all of these things find a home in your calendar, so that way you know you're doing them. Because if you write them down, obviously they're important enough to include in order to get to your $2 million revenue. And it's very visual. You can see everything lined up. It's kind of a mix between that checklist style that we had with Smart Lists and the visual of the mind map. So these are kind of a little bit of both. And this is the one I always use. And this is the one I find my favorite. And I see myself visiting this at least monthly, sometimes even more, especially when I'm looking at making adjustments to what I'm doing. I come back here and I'm like, all right, why am I doing this? Why am I making the videos? All right, cool. I'm making the videos because I want new client acquisition. All right, so are my videos doing the things I need them to do? Make adjustments or be patient. You can make those decisions as you go back and reflect on these things. So, and as I take a look at the new year, 2024, I always go back and look at 23 first and see what went well, wouldn't do well, and I can color code it. You can see that green is me, I did well, green is for go, red is for nope, did not go well, and yellow is I want to try to do it, but I think it needs a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of work. And I incorporate that in my new and improved 2024 list of goals as well. So you can see color coding. Some things made the cut, some things didn't make the cut. It gives me a chance to reflect on how last year went. And I make this adjustment too, like I said, consistently all the time, right? So if I have something that's definitely not going well, let's say the Wednesday team meetings are not going well, no one's being able to attend them, there's things going on. Great, let's change this. We're gonna make this the Friday team meeting. Let's change this and make this a Zoom meeting. Let's change it and do this, that, and the other thing. Having this all written down in visual helps you make these adjustments and changes as you go, and having them color coded from the year previous helps you decide whether or not you thought it was successful or not. And finally, a few things not in those three different styles, just some thoughts, something to reflect on and maybe incorporate in whatever method you use. One, I always sit down with my team and we create big, audacious goals. The big, audacious goal is something that it's almost ridiculous, right? Something that there's just almost no way we can possibly do it. Like buy an apartment complex. I'm going to do that. That's my big audacious goal. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but we'll have it on the list just for some fun. Have it on there because in the back of your head, it gives you a little bit of inspiration. It gives you a little bit of, in case things go very well for you, you're like, you know what? I might be able to do this. So write down a big audacious goal. Second thing you want to do, no matter what format you use, whatever strategy, list some of the things that you feel are the strengths of the company as you keep working and doing things, and then make a list right next to it of some of the weaknesses, some of the things that aren't going well, some of the areas that you feel definitely hold you back a little bit. And so make them side by side, create those two lists. You also at some point need to write down what your target audience is. Who are the people that you seem to be coming through your shop or through your store or doing the buying? And you don't want to put anybody and everybody. That's not going to work. But you can do categories. You can say, listen, here's a group specifically, and really break down some of the people you see buying your product. But don't put everybody. That's not going to work. And then think to yourself, when you make that target audience, how are you measuring that? Are you just making a guess? Do you have some receipts? What do you have? What do you got that helped you decide who your target audience is? All right. So just some other tips to big audacious goals, list strengths, weaknesses, target audiences, measurables. And then of course, the last thing is being able to put your personal goals somewhere near those business goals. Of course, you want to try to keep business and personal separate, but they meld together on some levels. They inherently do. So have your goals set up. And if you're using a SMART strategy, or if you're using the drawing strategy, or if you're using the 1-3-5, have your personals next to it. So that way you can look at the two and kind of compare and make sure that you're going to make this year strong and that you're not going to, overextend, or you're staying on task and everything fits what you're trying to do. Okay, so there you go. There's some tips, some things to think about, some of the concepts and so forth I go over with some of the businesses I sit down with. I hope it helps you out a little bit, and we look forward to making 2024 and the years after that each more successful than the last. So thanks for tuning in, and we have big things coming for Live Local, so stay tuned.